10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Evening all. I'm doing a Clive. What I'm actually doing is I'm doing a bit of painting tonight. I've already painted the actual helicopter. I've primed it. I've primed it in a mix of these two. Okay, tried with the grey straight away, but because the plastic's grey, couldn't really see where all going after a couple of squirts, so I've added some of that, and I'll show you that in a bit. Next up is there's a couple of fuel tanks with this bird, and I've just done them in black with the rear rotor as well. And then you get onto the main rotor. I mean, look at the chuffing size of this bleeding thing, it's absolutely enormous. Now, so what I've done is, you do get decals. I'll just turn that round. Can you see those lines on there, look, these? So you do get decals for those, but I much prefer to mask off and do a little bit of an airbrush job. So what I've done, if you can see, there should be some numbers there. They're probably from the tip, you can see from there across here, and I've worked out how long it is and how long the actual propeller is, and then I've done the maths and I've worked that out. So what I've worked out there for the spacing is where to put the lines, and we're looking at 65mm in, 90, 100 and about 125, give or take. Now, instead of obviously getting a ruler out every 2 minutes and putting a little pencil line on, it comes down to cutting mat again, doesn't it? We've all got these box standard cutting mats. Mine's looking a little bit worse for wear, and it's got your centimetre grid on. So what I've done is I've put a bit of masking tape down, and 65 you can see there from the edge, so 65 in, 90, 100, 125. And then, all I have to do then is that, and put the blade onto the edge there, and then obviously mark up. Now what I've got downside of here, you can see, if I just bring it into shot, is just some 6mm that I've marked off, measured the width of the blade, 15mm, so I've just made them into 20mm strips, and then what I've done is I've cut down here in a really fine line. Okay, so what you'll see me do now is take one of those lines up, which is like that, put my blade onto the edge of there, like that, and then literally just drop that masking tape. I've got the black line there, you can see that, and then I've got that line as well that comes down. So as long as I marry that to that, just like that, it makes sure it's straight, and flip it underneath, and it's job done. Get rid of the pen mark, you don't need that. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all alright. On this Thursday evening, and then my last one, just to push that down, that's on your 5mm, which is round about there. I have got some tweezers knocking about somewhere under my book, under my instruction book, because as usual you start off with a build, don't you, and your bench is pretty pristine clean, and then by the time you're 10 minutes in, you just can't move for all the stuff that you've used. So you can see on there, if I just put my hand up, that I've got my runs of masking tape, and obviously now it's going to be identical across the board, because it's just a matter of lifting that up like that, okay, putting your next rotor blade on the edge to there, and then following the line, and it's as simple as that. Job's a good one, and you save yourself a load of time there and a load of hassling, constantly marking off and potentially leaving pencil marks on. I think I've just made a jig, haven't I? Is that what they call it, a jig? While I do this, once I've done that, now rotor blades on this particular bird, they are showing black, but as a modeler, you know, we start to say, well, what colour's black? You know, of course we're daft like that, aren't we? And we say, well, what colour's black? And we've got rubber black and matte black and gloss black and all sorts of stuff. Okay, I'm just going to change my blade out. That one's going big, but it is just going to be just a semi-gloss black, because it doesn't really matter because once I get the matte coat down, it'll be a matte coat anyway. Okay, for some reason that's broken, so let's just pull that out. Now I use, for sharp, I use number 11 blades. That's a number 11 blade. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that into there like that. Just be careful of that edge, because I want to do another strip. Okay, now I hope I'm not boring you to death, but I just thought I'd share what I was doing. So straight down like that, and hopefully, let's have a look, see if that'll lift like that, and then that rotor blade, we're on to number 2, and that's going on the white line there up to the black line there. Okay, job's a good one, and I've saved myself a load of time there by doing it that way. Now, if you watch my other video, I did question the colour call out on it, but after a little bit of thinking, I have actually decided to paint this bird in a dark grey. And when I say a dark grey, I mean a really, really dark grey, because sometimes you see something that's pretty inspirational, okay, and I've actually come across a helicopter paint scheme that absolutely blew my mind. But the best thing about it was that I could see exactly how he'd done it, this chap. Now, I suppose, you know, in some respects you're going, well, flipping hell, Mark, you know, how you come up with your own? What are you copying for? Well, you know, I could say to everybody that's ever built a Spitfire, couldn't I, with that green and brown camo scheme, I could say, couldn't you come up with your own? I've seen it and it's inspired me to have a go, and I saw it on the Facebook group that I run, that I created. I think it's about 4 years old now, and it's a group called Elite Model Productions. So I'm having a bit of a plug there, aren't I, on my Facebook group, Elite Model Productions. What's that all about? I'll tell you. So once I got into the hobby, and you'll have to excuse me for waffling, just watching me do this. Once I got right into hobby and I started to create a couple of nice pieces, I did start to post them on social media like you do, but I was always very aware of my background surroundings, which couldn't really be said for a lot of the people that were posting. Now the thing that were really funny, you know, and for some reason I did let it get to me, but I did something about it. So basically what I was finding was that there were some fantastic models coming on display, but the guys that were doing the photographs were sort of taking them in the kitchen with the kettle and the tea and coffee pots in the back, and their lasses' knickers on the radiator and stuff. And it really, I mean, it shouldn't have done, but it did. It really started to grate on me. And I thought, all that chuffing time and effort that you've spent building that absolute piece, and I can see a pair of big Berthas in the background. And that is basically what started Elite Model Productions on Facebook. It's the name Elite Model Productions. It's almost like, alright, so it's the best of the best, is it? Well, look, let's not beat around the bush, right? It's got to be bloody good to get on. It's got to be good to get on, okay? I don't just let any old modeler on. And at the start of that, I did take a little bit of stick, because obviously straight away I got the "who do you think you are" sort of thing, and you know, it's supposed to be a hobby and you're supposed to enjoy it. Well, I do enjoy it, of course I do. I absolutely love it, as you probably know. And it's not an elitist Facebook group. It basically, the criteria is that you submit your pictures on there, and if you want to get it on, you've got to have a plain background or a suitable backdrop, something like a coastal kit display base and background, something that makes it look really nice, and no work in progress pictures. It really is that simple, okay? But it also needs to look pretty good to get on as well. So if you go onto Facebook and type in Elite Model Productions, you will probably find it. Now, I run a banner competition for that every single month. So we're coming up to end of month now. It's 29th, I think, today, 29th September. So the invitations to all 4,500 members, because that's how many's on there, have gone out, and it basically says, right, you know, come on, it's banner time, show me your pieces, let's go, let's rock and roll. And you can submit your picture on for banner for the following month, and obviously the guys that are submitting now are looking for the October banner, okay? And what I do is I run a point scoring system, very much like a football sort of thing, where it's, if you put a love art down on a piece that you've seen that's been submitted as banner, it's awarded 3 points. And if you think, wow, that's really good, but you don't love it, then you can put a astounded face down, and that will get 2 points awarded. Or you can say, you know what, that's a nice piece, I do like that, I'm just going to give that one a thumbs up, and a thumbs up gets 1 point. And then on the last day of the month, then I add all the scores up, and whoever gets the most is the Elite Model Banner winner for the following month. And I'm on to the last one now. Can you see how quickly this has taken me now, because I've used that little jig? I've literally done it in no time. And all the pieces of tape are on the lines, bang on. Obviously, before I even think about painting, I will give them a burr with a cotton bud. I wouldn't just sort of get my airbrush out and start blasting away now, because even though they're laid down, they do need a burr. They do need a burr down. A burr down? Yeah, they need pressing on with a cotton bud. Okay. And that's the last one. Alright, so the centre, that'll be sort of like a bit of a gunmetal. And then I shall do gunmetal down to the rods there. And then the rest of it will be black with some... I'm not big keen on chipping rotor blades. Whether it's whether they do get chipped or not, I'm not particularly sure. I suppose they do, because they're hitting into wind, aren't they? So this is a burr down look. Okay, so I'm just giving them a little burr, a little rub burr cotton, just to make sure that the masking tape is taken how I want it. Okay, and then it sort of like eliminates the chance of any bleed or much bleed. It lowers the chance of any bleed when your tape is stuck down correctly. Now, what I would ordinarily do is fire my compressor up. I'm saying ordinarily, I have done, and I'm going to give it a blast of black. I could probably do with leaving that masking tape on until, put it back in your tub, mate, waste not, want not, mate. I'll let the black dry, which might take about an hour, but how long have I been going now? I've been going 17 minutes now, look, chuffing on fire. And then I'll peel the tape off, and so I'll pause this, I won't stop it, I'll pause it, and then we'll have a look in a minute. Catch you in 5, cheers. Let's have a look. So what I want to do is, I am going to do a little bit of filming. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I hit that blade at 90. I need to hit it straight on. Okay, now I will lift my camera angle up slightly. Let's have a look here so that you can see. Got my glove on, look, got my glove on. And I want to hit it at 90 degrees, and I don't want to drown it. Right, because if you drown it, all you're doing is increasing the chances of it bleeding. So very fine, and look at my distance. I must be a good 4 inch away there, if not more. To get down that edge like that, and just a couple of several passes will do the job like that. Alright, so number 1 done. And again, I want to hit it at 90. A couple of several light passes out to show you really. A couple of several light passes at a good distance. I've got quite a high pressure on this particular paint because I'm using a Tamiya black on this one, because I have run out of MRP black. I want to get that leading edge, and I'm on and off with fingers. You can probably hear a little bit of sideways coming down, and then a couple of nice passes up and down. I'm watching my finger. What you can't see is I am constantly changing that pressure on my finger to suit the paint job. Excuse me. Airbrushing, definitely not about hit and run. Airbrushing more about taking one's time and making sure that it's right what you're doing for the job. Just a quick test there on the back of my glove. Let's put some black on these. So it's a Tamiya, what is it? Which one is it? It's an X18, which is a semi-gloss black. Semi-gloss black. But again, doesn't really matter because once it's matte coated, it'll just be a matte black. Now, I suppose you could say, I just use a matte black then, Mark. But I ain't got none. Obviously, if I've got some of that, then I would use that. But I tend to go through a load of black, especially with the pre-shading stage that we do before we put a top colour down. Up and down and get that leading edge. And then while I'm doing these, I'm also looking at the blades that I've already done. These ones, just to make sure that they're all good. See if I can do a bit of that leading edge. Probably just out of camera at the minute. Like that. I'll lift it up for you again ever so slightly. You don't need to see my ugly mug tonight, do you? No. Okay, let's get that leading edge done. Like that. And then again, so we're going to go down, fine passes, putting a mist coat on, does not need flooding. The opacity of the paint will build up over time the more times that we pass that. Then obviously give it that black coat. Now, just because I'm putting a black on don't mean that that's my final colour. Depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I could put some mottling on a grey, on a really dark grey, and then black it again. Completely depends what sort of mood I'm in. You can see I'm still in my work gear. I've come home tonight and tied up with Mrs. All is good, and she's at work early in the morning, which is a great opportunity for me just to pop into the garage and get some paint down. I really have proper fallen head over heels with this kit. Actually, no, I take that back, it's not the kit, it's the subject. This is one ugly helicopter. Because the tail on it, the spine on the tail is so small, can't believe how small it is, and then it's got quite a few sort of like bumps and lumps on the nose that make it look like it's got some kind of disease. Obviously it hasn't. It's not an animal, Mark. Think about what you're saying, mate. But I'll show you in a minute and you'll see what I mean. It's got more chuffing bumps and lumps on it than I know what to do with. And they're all sort of sensors, I do believe, and one thing and another. Can't believe I've run out of paint on last bloody rotor. Never worry, never worry. Right, let me just angle you guys back down a little bit so that you can follow me and see what I'm doing. So it's my last one, look. I'll see if I can do it on camera for you. Again, just to show you that it's a nice steady build up of colour. I'm not flooding it. Don't want to ruin that little bit of masking. Don't really want paint to be bleeding underneath. So if you do it in your nice slow steady passes, gently building your paint up, then like I say, you reduce that risk. I've got no doubt most of you will be saying, well, of course we do that. Or some of you might be watching thinking, do you know what, when I watch those YouTube videos, how come the people that I watch absolutely flood it to death? Well, that's called a wet coat, and you can wet coat, but my painting style is dry coat. I don't like to flood, I like to build it up nice and slow, gradually building the colour up. That works for me, okay. So there you go, that's that one. I do need to clean this out, and then what time we're on, 25 minutes. And then a quick look, give me 2 minutes just to do this. I don't want to leave this paint in this colour cup. So, oh, you can see me now, look what I'm doing. So, I've got a bit of lacquer thinner to thin my paint off that I've got in the colour cup. Cotton bud down, and let's have a little bit of a blow back on that one. And when I'm blowing back, what that's doing is it's diluting the paint that's in this front end, mixing it in with that thinner to make it really nice and thin. Let's blast that through. Cotton bud in the bin down there under my legs. See if I've got any side spills, which I'm good, not too bad at all, although I do need to get my brush through that sonic cleaner. It is looking a little bit second hand at the moment. And then what I'm going to do, just to make sure that I get into that chamber, I'm going to take my back end off, I'm going to slacken my nut, I'm going to pull my needle out. I'm careful now, very very careful, because this, last thing I want to be doing is catching it and bending it, because they're a chuffing fortune. But because I've pulled it out, that means that I can get my cotton bud right into my well. Okay, like that. But I'm not concentrating on this, I'm only concentrating on this, right? This bit is just whatever. Trigger down, back in, and get that back end on. Get that, it's there to protect it, obviously. Okay, and I would consider that clean. Let me touch that tank, it's not too bad actually. So that's, you know, stage sort of like 1 on my rotors. I did prime it in the grey that I showed you earlier. All right, I did prime it in that. This is an old paint. So I can lift that out away, pop that up there, and I can show you. But I am going to have to do it that way. So there she is. That's the bird that I'm building at the moment. Okay, and hopefully it looks a little bit blue. Alright, it's really hard to angle the camera, because I'm having to look over my own shoulder to show you that. Okay, but there it is. That's done in blue. And all ready for the next stage. I'll pop you in there. Sorry if I've just given you like a bit of a psychedelic headache, but I'm not going to be late in here tonight. So that's done. Props step 1, 2 and 3, which is a grey, the masking tape and the black. And I can already see that tape, that paint is actually dry. I can already see that. Shall I pull one? Go on, I will do. I will do. Now the blade itself 15mm wide, but if you remember earlier I said that I was going to make my masking tape 20mm, and the reason that I was going to do that was so that I could put it underneath, get me fine point tweezers, find the end, pull it off. And I haven't even looked on the other side. You can look with me. Alright. I'm absolutely bricking it. Because you're like, wow, I hope it's worked for you, mate. I hope, oh. you know, you might be the other way, you might be a bit sadistic and you think, I hope you've got paint bleed. Shall we have a look together? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. How's that? Okay. And obviously, look at me smiling now, I'm like, get in. And obviously, that, right, is that. Let me hold that up. Can you see down at the bottom? Is it going to focus in? Maybe. There it is. So I'm quite happy with that actually. How long have I been going? 30 minutes. Do you know what? You can stay with me now. Alright. Well, I'll do the rest of them. I might as well. Is all these blades dry? Yeah, they're all dry. Right, okay. I should be able to rattle these off then, no problem. But I am going to use my tweezers. And then end up with a cutting mat full of sticky little bits. I'll tell you what I wanted to know. I'm not particularly fussed about, oh, it didn't happen on this chopper, Mark, so forget about it, mate. On an helicopter, when I build an helicopter, I do like to have droop on my rotors, okay? Not like, you know, the way like 5 ton on ends, because I know that's not how they're designed. But I do want to put a little bit of a natural way to droop on. And I just thought, happens the way that I can do it is to put the centre on top of a football and tape the blades round the football. Heat them up maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. So, if you've ever drooped your helicopter blades and you have got a fail-safe way of doing it, then you can let me know. And obviously I'll give you a shout. Okay, if it's successful. Don't be thinking that I'm going to get like some kind of blowtorch, because I'm not. Alright. Itchy belly. Itchy belly. Can't wait to get this on here. Not long now, just bear with me, because what I shall do as well is I shall sit it on top of the bird and give it a little spin. And if that's not worth staying up for, I don't know what is. Shout out, I'm not a car builder. I'm not a car builder. I once tried to build a Mini about 2 years since. God above, that turned out to be a nightmare. Shout out, if you're into cars, right, go onto YouTube and look for A4 Garage. A4 Garage. Or if you're from my neck of woods, A4 Garage. Go and have a look on YouTube for that guy. He's currently building a BMW police car. But talk about taking it to the next level. That guy is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. How many have I got left? One. Last one. Alright. Hang on. Last one. Tell you what, I hope this works. I do hope this works. But it's not looking too bad so far. Yeah, A4 Garage. If you're into your cars, go and have a look at him. Mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing. Right, so, Shadow. I'm going to pop that onto there, which is how it goes. I've got a couple of little bits here that I want to just move out of the way. I'm going to sit that onto my cotton bud like that, and I'm going to give it a spin like that. I'm going to take you back out at cradle. Okay, and let's just see if I do. Where's my camera? There, look. If I do that like that, look, how's that? And those lines, they look pretty uniform, don't they? They don't look too bad. I think that jig has worked, hasn't it? Has that jig worked? What do you think? What do you reckon? I think that's okay. I think that's okay. Let's have a look where it looks like in a static. Where you gone, mate? Down you go. There you are. There's no bleed on any of the lines at all. So using that little jig has worked a treat. Cutting that tape has worked a treat. Brand new blade, don't forget, because once your blade starts dragging tape, you've lost. That's very, very important rule. I'm just getting rid of these little bits of masking tape. That's a very important rule. If you're using a blade, I'm not talking about a Stanley knife, for Christ's sake, I'm on about a proper Swan Morton. If you're using a blade and you start cutting on masking tape, right, and it starts dragging, it's time to change it out. I'm not kidding. So up here in my tools, I've got some cutters that I use for obviously cutting my sprues off, but that, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more, and more. I'm waffling now, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to count them. I've got 30. I know I've got 30 because I've just bought 30 blades. If you're cutting tape and it's dragging, get that blade changed. That'll do for tonight. That's where I'm up to with the Sikorsky CH-53 GS/G in my own colour scheme. Watch this space. Thanks for watching as usual. Stay safe, everybody. Gonna see me out, go out to the stock camera. Be good. Catch you later, mate. Ta-ra.